Today I can explain Hollywood movie Pulp Fiction. So let's start flocks. Late one morning in the Hawthorne Grill on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles, Honey Bunny, Amanda Plummer, and Pumpkin, Tim Roth, debate the merits of robbing banks versus liquor stores. Then they add restaurants to the mix, realizing that they can make more money by taking customers' wallets than they do by taking money from the till. The two kiss, declare their love for one another, and stand up in their booth, declaring that they are robbing the diner. Jules Winfield, Samuel L. Jackson, and Vincent Vega, John Travolta, arrive at a San Fernando Valley apartment building earlier in the day. They are hitmen working for Marcellus Wallace, and they have come to retrieve a valuable item from a group of would-be robbers led by a young and inexperienced man named Brett Frank Whaley. They retrieve the valuable item, which is kept in a briefcase and glows warmly, transfixing anyone who looks at it. Before he and Vincent execute Brett, Jules recites what he claims is a Bible verse, Ezekiel 25 verse 17. The wife of Vincent Vega and Marcellus Wallace story. Marcellus Wallace as Ving Rhames, pays boxer Butch Coolidge, Bruce Willis, to throw his next fight at his strip club. Jules and Vincent arrive, and despite the fact that it's only a few hours since their visit to the valley, the two hitmen are dressed in gym clothes rather than the suits they wore earlier in the day. While Jules goes to the men's room, Vincent visits the bar and meets Butch. The men immediately dislike each other. Vincent insults Butch, but before Butch can retaliate, Marcellus calls Vincent over and embraces him. Marcellus is leaving town that evening, and Vincent is to entertain Marcellus' wife, Uma Thurman, by taking her out to dinner. There are reports that Marcellus seriously injured another associate, Antoine, who he believed was inappropriately friendly with Mia, so Vincent is concerned. Prior to picking up Mia, he pays a visit to his drug dealer, Lance Eric Stoltz, and purchases some high-quality heroin. He drives the cocaine-addicted, chain-smoking Mia to Jack Rabbit Slim's, a 1950s-themed restaurant in West Hollywood. Mia enters herself and Vincent in a dance contest after some small talk about European travel, Mia's failed acting career, foot massage, and the rumors about Antoine, which Mia dispels. They win a trophy by performing the twist. They return to Wallace's house after dinner. Vincent visits the restroom to talk himself out of making a move on Mia. Meanwhile, she discovers the heroin baggie in his bag. He takes some cocaine from his coat pocket and snorts it. She immediately collapses and starts foaming at the mouth. Panicked, Vincent rushes Mia to Lance's, where they debate what to do with her. Vincent is able to revive her with a shot of adrenaline administered directly to the heart after following Lance's advice. Vincent brings Mia home. They agree not to tell Marcellus what happened because it would get them both in trouble. The gold timepiece story. Butch dreams of an incident from his childhood the night before his fight. Captain Coons, Christopher Walken, paid a visit to Butch in Tennessee in 1973 to bring him a gold watch. Butch's great-grandfather had brought the watch with him to World War I, Butch's grandfather had taken it to World War II, and Butch's father had taken it to Vietnam. Butch's father died as a prisoner of war, but he left the watch to Coons, who returned it to Butch. To keep the watch away from their captors, Coons and Butch's father hid it in their rectums, according to Coons. Butch reaches up and takes Coons' watch in his hand. Butch awakens from his trance. Instead of throwing the match off-screen, he fights his opponent so viciously that he kills him. He took Marcellus' money and bet it on himself. His winnings will be substantial. Butch strikes up a conversation with Esmeralda, Angela Jones, the driver of the cab in which he is riding, who reveals that she knows he's the boxer who killed his opponent. She appears to be fascinated by the subject of death. Esmeralda drives Butch to the seedy motel where he and his French girlfriend, Fabienne Maria de Medeiros, have taken refuge after abandoning their apartment. They will travel to Butch's in the morning. They return to their hometown of Knoxville, Tennessee, collect their winnings, and leave the country. The next morning, however, Fabienne reveals that she forgot the gold watch, which Butch values above all others. Butch takes Fabienne's car to get the watch after a rage-filled outburst in which he destroys the motel room's television, parking a few blocks away and walking through a vacant lot to his apartment building as a precaution. He walks in without incident and discovers his wristwatch in the bedroom. When he notices a submachine gun in the kitchen, he realizes he is not alone in the apartment. Butch kills Vincent with the gun he found, catching him off guard as he emerges from the bathroom. He exits his apartment after wiping down the gun to remove his fingerprints with a tissue. Butch is leaving the apartment with his watch when he comes across Marcellus crossing the street. He attempts to run over Marcellus with his car, but only injures him and is hit by another car himself. Marcellus chases Butch into a pawn shop while both are injured. Maynard, Dwayne Whitaker, the owner, overwhelms them. Marcellus and Butch awaken in the pawn shop's basement, bound and gagged. Maynard has contacted his cousin Zed, Peter Green, a security guard. Maynard and Zed appear to be a pair of redneck serial killers who kill passersby who happen to walk into their store. While Butch, Maynard, and Zed rape Marcellus in the next room, the Gimp, Stephen Hibbert, a huge man-child dressed head to toe in black leather fetish gear, watches. Butch breaks the ropes and chair that are holding him and knocks out the Gimp. Butch is about to leave the pawn shop and Marcellus to his fate when he has a conscience attack and obtains a samurai sword and rescues Marcellus. In the process, Maynard is killed. Marcellus' shotgun blast kills him and emasculates Zed. Marcellus stays behind to supervise Zed's torture. "I'ma get medieval on your ass," he says, but promises that as long as Butch never mentions what happened and never returns to Los Angeles, he will forget that Butch betrayed him in the boxing ring. Butch concurs. Butch and Fabienne leave town on Grace, Zed's chopper-style motorcycle, in the final scene. The Bonnie predicament story. 3 days earlier, just after Vincent and Jules finish murdering Brett for stealing Marcellus' prized possession, an unknown gang member, Alexis Arquette, bursts out of the bathroom where he had apparently been when Jules and Vincent entered and fires a large pistol point blank at them. However, all of the bullets miss Vincent and Jules and strike the wall behind them, prompting them to retaliate and kill the gang member. Jules is certain it was divine intervention, but Vincent dismisses the notion. They depart with Marvin, Phil Lamar, Marcellus' gang insider. In the car, Jules insists that what happened in the apartment was a miracle and that he is leaving Marcellus' gang. Vincent leans over the front seat, asking Marvin if he believes in miracles, but accidentally kills him by shooting him in the head. The car's interior is now splattered with blood and brain matter. Jules, enraged by Vincent's carelessness, drives to the home of his only friend in the valley, a former co-worker named Jimmy, Quentin Tarantino. Jimmy agrees to let them hide the car in his garage, but demands that they dispose of the body within an hour, before his wife Bonnie returns home from her night shift at a hospital. Jules calls Marcellus at home to explain their situation. Winston Wolfe, Harvey Keitel, a suave and professional cleaner who solves problems, is then called by Marcellus. Wolfe arrives at Jimmy's house and instructs Vincent and Jules on how to clean up the car and themselves. They must remove their business suits, be sprayed down with a garden hose, and wear Jimmy's spare t-shirts and shorts, which explains their attire at the strip club, before assisting them in disposing of the car and body at a junkyard belonging to Jimmy. Mr. Wolfe's girlfriend is the daughter of a quiet friend named Monster Joe. After resolving the situation, Jules and Vincent decide to have breakfast at the Hawthorne Grill, where they continue their conversation about miracles. Jules reveals his plan to abandon his criminal life and travel the world as a mendicant, assisting those oppressed by tyranny. Vincent mocks his friend and partner, then goes to the bathroom, upset that he is leaving the life. Then Honey Bunny and Pumpkin, from the prologue, start robbing the diner. They frantically collect the cash from the register and the wallets of the customers. When Pumpkin tries to take Marcellus' briefcase, Jules pulls out his gun and disarms him. While Vincent restrains Honey Bunny, Jules tells Pumpkin how, even earlier that morning, he would have killed Pumpkin and Honey Bunny without hesitation. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men, he says again, paraphrasing Ezekiel 25 verse 17. Blessed is he who shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness in the name of charity and goodwill, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers will be met with great vengeance and furious anger from me. And you will recognize my name as Lord when I exact my vengeance on you. Jules explains that, while he previously thought it was cool to make such a cold-blooded passage the last thing his victims heard, he now realizes that the tyranny of evil men, a part of the passage refers to him, and he intends to change. He and Vincent let Honey Bunny and Pumpkin go with the money but not the briefcase. They leave the diner and go to Marcellus' strip joint,